In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, where countless civilizations thrived and intermingled, humanity had finally taken its place among the stars. It was the year 2157, and Earth had become a respected member of the Galactic Confederation, a loose alliance of species united by trade, diplomacy, and the occasional interstellar squabble. Enter Jack Morrison, a ruggedly handsome diplomat from Earth with a reputation for unorthodox problem-solving. His latest assignment? To broker a peace treaty between two warring factions in the Andromeda Galaxy, a conflict that threatened to destabilize the entire local group. As Jack's ship, the Earthbound Hope, docked at the neutral space station orbiting Andromeda's central black hole, he couldn't shake the feeling that this mission would be unlike any other. Little did he know that his actions would not only change the course of galactic history, but also challenge the very notion of beauty across the cosmos. The station buzzed with activity as representatives from various species scurried about, their translators working overtime to facilitate communication. Jack made his way to the grand conference room where the leaders of the warring factions awaited. On one side sat the Zorgans, a race of silicon-based lifeforms known for their logical thinking and impressive crystal formations. On the other, the Blobians, amorphous beings of pure energy, renowned for their emotional depth and artistic prowess. As Jack began to address the assembly, the doors burst open, and in floated a being that caused every eye, optical sensor, and sensory appendage in the room to turn. It was Princess Exelix of the Quasar Dominion, known throughout the galaxies as the ugliest sentient being in existence. The princess was a sight to behold, and not in a good way. Her body was an ever-shifting mass of tentacles, each a different shade of what could only be described as nauseating. Her 7 eyes blinked independently, each a different size and color. What passed for her mouth was a gaping maw filled with teeth that spiraled inwards like a nightmarish kaleidoscope. The room fell silent, save for a few poorly suppressed gasps and retches. Jack, however, maintained his composure, his diplomatic training kicking in as he greeted the princess with a respectful bow. "Princess Exelix," he said, his translator struggling to pronounce her name correctly. "To what do we owe the pleasure of your presence?" The princess's voice, when she spoke, was like the sound of 1,000 nails on a chalkboard, amplified and distorted. "I come bearing a proposal that will end this conflict once and for all," she announced. All eyes turned to Jack, expecting him to take charge of the situation. With a deep breath, he gestured for the princess to continue. "The Quasar Dominion offers to act as a neutral mediator in this conflict," Gazilitix explained. "In exchange, we ask for a small favor, a symbolic union to cement the peace." Jack's mind raced. A symbolic union? Surely she couldn't mean. "We propose a marriage," the princess continued, her tentacles writhing with what might have been excitement. "A union between our kingdom and one of the diplomatic parties present." The room erupted into chaos. The Zorgons vibrated at frequencies that threatened to shatter their crystalline bodies, while the Blobians pulsed with a kaleidoscope of colors that would have been beautiful, if not for the clear panic they conveyed. Jack's mind whirled. The fate of 2 galaxies hung in the balance. If this conflict wasn't resolved, it could spark a war that would consume countless lives. He thought of Earth, of humanity's hard-won place among the stars. Could he really risk it all because of aesthetics? In that moment, Jack made a decision that would echo through the annals of galactic history. "I volunteer," he said, his voice cutting through the cacophony like a laser through the void of space. The room fell silent once more, all eyes now fixed on the human diplomat. "I, Jack Morrison of Earth, volunteer to marry Princess Exelix of the Quasar Dominion in the name of peace and galactic stability." The princess's tentacles writhed in what Jack hoped was joy rather than hunger. The Zorgans and Blobians, momentarily united in their shock, began to murmur amongst themselves. What followed was a whirlwind of preparations. News of the impending union spread across the galaxies at faster-than-light speeds. Humanity watched in a mixture of horror, pride, and morbid fascination as one of their own prepared to make the ultimate diplomatic sacrifice. The ceremony itself was a grand affair, broadcast on every frequency and in every dimension. Jack stood tall in his ceremonial Earth uniform, while Princess Exolytix floated beside him, resplendent in what appeared to be a dress made of living starlight, which did little to mitigate her appearance. As the vows were exchanged and the union sealed with what Jack would later describe as the most challenging kiss of my life, cheers erupted across 2 galaxies. Peace had been achieved, though at what personal cost to the brave human diplomat none could say. But this is not where our story ends. Oh no, dear viewers. This is where it truly begins. For you see, as Jack and Exolytix retreated to their ceremonial chambers, something unexpected happened. As the doors closed behind them, the princess's form began to shimmer and shift. Gone were the writhing tentacles and the nightmare-inducing features. In their place stood a being of such breathtaking beauty that Jack felt his heart skip a beat. "What? How?" he stammered, his diplomatic poise momentarily forgotten. The being before him smiled, and it was like watching a supernova in slow motion. "Oh, Jack," she said, her voice now a melody that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space-time. "Did you really think that the most advanced civilization in the known universe would produce the ugliest beings?" As understanding dawned on Jack's face, Exolytix continued. "What you saw before was a test, one that you passed with flying colors. You see, the Quasar Dominion has long sought a species worthy of joining our ranks. We needed beings who could see beyond the surface, who could make sacrifices for the greater good, who could love unconditionally." Jack's mind reeled as he processed this information. "So, the whole conflict—" "A carefully orchestrated scenario," Exolytix confirmed. "The Zorgons and Blobians are our longtime allies. We needed to see how an emerging species like humanity would react under pressure. And you, Jack Morrison, have proven that humans are indeed ready for the next step in galactic evolution." As Jack absorbed this revelation, Exolytix took his hands in hers. "But that's not all," she said, her eyes twinkling with the light of distant stars. "The test was also personal. For eons, I have searched the cosmos for a being who could see beyond my illusory ugliness, who could love the essence of who I am. And you, Jack, have done just that." In that moment, Jack realized that his impulsive decision had not only secured peace for 2 galaxies, but had also led him to a love that transcended the boundaries of space, time, and conventional beauty. The story of Jack and Exolytix quickly became legend. Humans, once seen as upstart newcomers to the galactic stage, were now revered for their capacity for unconditional love and sacrifice. The couple traveled the cosmos, bridging divides between species, solving ancient conflicts, and showing that true beauty lies not in appearance, but in actions and character. Years later, as Jack and Exolytix watched the birth of a new star from the observation deck of their ship, he turned to his wife and smiled. "You know," he said, "I think I fell in love with you even when you were ugly. There was something captivating about you, something I couldn't quite put my finger on." Exolytix laughed, the sound like wind chimes in a cosmic breeze. "That, my dear Jack, is why you and your species are so special. You have the unique ability to see beauty where others see only the surface." As they shared a kiss that seemed to make the very stars burn brighter, Jack reflected on the strange and wonderful path that had led him here. He had married the galaxy's ugliest princess, only to discover that true beauty transcends all physical forms. And so, dear viewers, the next time you gaze up at the night sky, remember the tale of Jack and Exolytix. Remember that love knows no boundaries, that beauty is more than skin deep, and that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a single courageous "I do." For in the end, it is not the shape of our bodies or the number of our appendages that define us. It is our capacity for love, our willingness to sacrifice, and our ability to see the beauty in others, even when it's hidden behind the most challenging of facades. And who knows? Perhaps somewhere out there in the vast expanse of the cosmos, there's another unlikely pair about to embark on their own epic journey of love and discovery. After all, in a universe as vast and wondrous as ours, anything is possible. The story of humanity's ascension to the stars is still being written. And if Jack and Exolytix are any indication, it's going to be one hell of a tale. The previous content remains unchanged. The new content begins here. Chapter 2. The Cosmic Crucible. As Jack and Exolytix's love story spread across the galaxies, it inspired countless beings to look beyond appearances and seek understanding across species. However, not everyone was thrilled with this new era of intergalactic cooperation. In the shadows of dying stars and the spaces between dimensions, an ancient evil stirred. The Void Collective, a group of eldritch horrors that fed on conflict and misery, saw the peace brought by Jack and Exolytix as a threat to their very existence. 5 years after their fateful union, Jack and Exolytix were summoned to the Grand Galactic Council. As they entered the vast chamber, carved from the core of a hollow planet, they were met with a sea of worried faces from 1,000 different species. "Ambassadors," began the council elder, a being of pure light hovering above the central podium. "We face a crisis that threatens the very fabric of our united galaxies." The elder waved a tendril of light, and a holographic map of the known universe appeared. Vast swathes of it were covered in an ominous, writhing darkness. "The Void Collective has returned," the elder continued, its voice resonating with cosmic dread. "They seek to undo all we have accomplished, to plunge us back into chaos and war." Jack felt Exolytix's hand tighten around his. He looked at his wife, seeing the determination in her starry eyes that had first drawn him to her. "What can we do?" Jack asked, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at his gut. The elder's light pulsed softly. "You two represent something the Void Collective cannot comprehend: unity and diversity, love that transcends all boundaries. We believe you may be the key to stopping them." And so began Jack and Exolytix's greatest adventure yet. Armed with a ship powered by the energy of 1,000 quasars and a crew composed of the best and brightest from across the galaxies, they set out to confront the Void Collective. Their first stop was the Nebula of Whispers, a vast cloud of stellar gas where secrets of the universe were said to be hidden. As their ship entered the nebula, colors swirled around them in impossible patterns, and whispers echoed through the corridors. Exolytix, with her advanced sensory capabilities, began to decipher the whispers. "It's a prophecy," she said, her voice filled with awe. "It speaks of a union between matter and energy, between the physical and the ethereal, that will bring balance to the cosmos." Jack grinned at his wife. "Sounds like us, doesn't it?" But their moment of levity was short-lived. A tendril of darkness shot through the nebula, narrowly missing their ship. The Void Collective had found them. What followed was a chase across the cosmos that would become the stuff of legends. They raced through the rings of gas giants, used the gravity wells of black holes to slingshot themselves across galaxies, and navigated through treacherous asteroid fields. All the while, Jack and Exolytix worked tirelessly with their crew to uncover the Void Collective's weakness. They gathered stardust from the birthplaces of suns, collected quantum fluctuations from the edges of the universe, and even dared to dip into the event horizons of black holes to gather exotic matter. Their quest took them to the farthest reaches of the known universe and beyond. They encountered civilizations hidden in fold of space-time, beings of pure thought that existed in dimensions beyond human comprehension, and ancient artifacts left behind by long-extinct species that held unimaginable power. Each encounter, each discovery, brought them closer to understanding the true nature of the Void Collective. But it also brought them closer to understanding themselves and each other. One night, or what passed for night in the depths of space, as they stood on the observation deck watching galaxies swirl by, Exolytix turned to Jack with a look of vulnerability he had never seen before. "Jack," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "are you ever afraid? Do you ever regret choosing this life?" Jack took her hand, marveling as always at how her skin seemed to contain entire nebulae. "Afraid? Sometimes," he admitted. "But regret? Never. Every moment with you is an adventure I wouldn't trade for anything in this universe or any other." Exolytix's eyes shimmered with emotion. "Even when I showed you my ugly form?" Jack laughed softly. "Especially then. Because that's when I realized that true beauty isn't about appearance. It's about the courage to be vulnerable, to show your true self to someone else. You trusted me with that, and it's a gift I'll treasure for eternity." As they shared a kiss that seemed to make the stars around them pulse in sympathy, neither of them noticed the tendril of void that was creeping towards their ship. Alarms blared, snapping them back to reality. They rushed to the bridge, where their crew was frantically trying to shake off the Void Collective's attack. "They've found us!" shouted the navigator, a multi-limbed being from a heavy-gravity world. "We can't shake them." Jack and Exozylytics shared a look. They both knew what needed to be done. "Set a course for the Cosmic Forge," Zyzylytics commanded. A hush fell over the bridge. The Cosmic Forge was the stuff of legends, a place where it was said the very laws of physics were malleable, where reality itself could be reshaped. But its location had been lost to time, and many believed it to be just a myth. "But how?" the navigator asked. Jack stepped forward, a glint in his eye. "With love," he said simply. And so, guided by nothing but their bond and their belief in each other, Jack and Exozylytics navigated their ship towards the heart of creation itself. The Void Collective pursued them, its tendrils of darkness lashing out, trying to stop them. As they approached the Cosmic Forge, reality began to warp around them. Colors they had no names for flooded their vision, and they could hear the song of creation itself thrumming through their bodies. In the heart of the forge, suspended in a web of energy that defied comprehension, hovered an object that seemed to be every shape at once, and no shape at all. "The universal catalyst," Zyzylytics breathed in awe. As Jack reached out to touch it, the Void Collective made its final assault. Darkness flooded the ship, threatening to consume everything. But in that moment, Jack and Exozylytics' love, a love that had transcended appearance, species, and even the boundaries of space and time, flared like a supernova. The light of their bond pushed back the darkness, creating a bubble of pure creation around them. With a shared thought, they grasped the universal catalyst together. Power unlike anything they had ever felt coursed through them. In that moment they understood everything, the nature of the universe, the purpose of existence, the true face of love. They turned as one to face the Void Collective. But instead of destroying it, they did something unexpected. They offered understanding. "We see you," they spoke in unison, their voices carrying the weight of universes. "We understand your fear, your loneliness. But existence isn't just about conflict and consumption, it's about growth, about connection." The Void Collective recoiled, but Jack and Exozylytics pressed on. "Join us," they offered. "Be part of creation instead of trying to end it. Know the joy of unity, of love." For a moment that lasted an eternity, everything hung in the balance. Then, slowly, the darkness began to recede. The Void Collective, for the first time in its unfathomable existence, chose to listen. What followed was a transformation on a cosmic scale. The Void Collective, with Jack and Exozylytics' guidance, began to understand the beauty of existence. It learned to create rather than destroy, to nurture rather than consume. As the last of the darkness faded, replaced by a soft, glowing energy that pulsed with potential, Jack and Exozylytics found themselves back on their ship, surrounded by their awestruck crew. What happened?" someone asked. Jack and Exozylytics looked at each other, their eyes filled with the knowledge of eternity. "We remembered what it means to be alive," Jack said simply. Exozylytics nodded. "And we taught others the same." As news of their victory spread across the galaxies, a new age of unprecedented peace and cooperation dawned. Species that had warred for millennia laid down their arms, inspired by the love that had saved existence itself. Jack and Exozylytics, hailed as the saviors of the cosmos, found themselves at the center of a universe-wide celebration. But amidst the joy and the accolades, they found the greatest happiness in the quiet moments they shared together. One evening, as they watched a new galaxy being born from the remnants of the Void Collective, Exozylytics turned to Jack with a mischievous glint in her eye. "So," she said, her form shimmering with barely contained excitement, "ready for our next adventure?" Jack laughed, pulling her close. "With you?" "Always." And as they shared a kiss that resonated across dimensions, the universe itself seemed to sigh in contentment. For in the end, it was not advanced technology, nor cosmic power, nor even the manipulation of reality itself that had saved existence. It was love, pure, unconditional, and unbound by the petty constraints of appearance or species. It was the love of a human man for his alien wife, a love that had started with a diplomatic marriage to an ugly princess and had blossomed into a force capable of reshaping reality itself. As Jack and Exelix's ship disappeared into the cosmic horizon, bound for new adventures and new challenges, they left behind a universe forever changed. A universe that had learned the most important lesson of all, that true beauty, true strength, and true love know no boundaries. And somewhere, in a small corner of the Milky Way, on a beautiful blue planet called Earth, a child looked up at the night sky and dreamed of adventures among the stars. Little did they know that thanks to Jack and Exelix, those adventures would be filled not with war and conflict, but with understanding, cooperation, and love. For in the vast, infinite expanse of the cosmos, humanity had not only found its place, it had found its purpose, and it was more beautiful and more important than anyone could have ever imagined. The end, or perhaps just the beginning.